Mommy, this feels so good. I want to wash my bottom like this forever. Leo's innocent voice jolted me awake. I realized I had been reborn. In my previous life, I had seen my sister-in-law, Sarah, bathing my nephew, Leo, and he had told her to spread his buttocks and spray directly with the showerhead. I rushed forward, asking Sarah why she was bathing him that way. Sarah frowned, explaining that she found this method not only cleaned his bottom, but also flushed his rectum, killing two birds with one stone. I patiently explained, but this will damage his intestinal lining. Plus, using tap water can cause spasms and intestinal pain. People normally use saline solution for this. Sarah brushed it off, so I gave up trying to advise her. Later, at the fountain outside the apartment complex, Leo stripped naked and sprayed water onto his bottom, laughing eerily as he did so. I forcefully took him to the hospital. First, we went to gastroenterology for a checkup. There was no physical damage. Then, we went for psychological counseling. The doctor delicately explained that the child had become addicted to this sensation, describing it as a psychological condition. Parents must guide and communicate with their children immediately upon noticing inappropriate behavior to prevent irreversible consequences, he advised. Sarah didn't grasp the doctor's words, seeing it only as an exaggeration to extract money. He's so young, it's just momentary curiosity. Aren't you just blowing things out of proportion to make money? I'm not going to treat him anymore. Let's see what becomes of him. The doctor shook his head, ignoring her, and left. Afterwards, I paid out of my own pocket to find a psychologist to counsel Leo, arranging classes to educate him on physiology, primarily to change his understanding, and then to constantly monitor his behavior. Leo successfully corrected his bad habit and grew up without issues. However, later, when Leo couldn't find a girlfriend, Sarah berated him as useless. He then turned his hatred towards me, saying, "You were always monitoring me, stopping me from using water enemas, preventing me from ever experiencing that pleasure again. Now I don't even have the desire for romance. It's all your fault for meddling in my business, just die." With a fierce expression, he strangled me to death, dismembered my body, and threw it into the sea. Even after my death, Sarah still blamed me. "I thought you could raise him properly, which is why I entrusted him to you. I never expected you to make him lose all desire. My son struggled so much to grow up. Now he can't get a wife, isn't that your fault? You've cut off our family line. You deserve to die 1,000 deaths." It turned out she had always known the implications of Leo's behavior, yet she had indulged him and then shifted all the blame onto me. Fortunately, I had been reborn. Everything was still salvageable. This time, I vowed not to meddle anymore. I wanted to see how Leo would ensure the family lineage continued. Seeing me pass by, Sarah chuckled. "Hey dear, look at how well my son knows how to wash. This is how you get truly clean, and no one even taught him, he just knew it himself. Isn't he smart?" My train of thought was interrupted. I snapped back to reality, forcing myself to suppress the urge to rush over and strangle both mother and son. I said coldly, "Indeed, he certainly does." Sarah, thinking I was interested, offered me a turn. "Why don't you try it too?" She truly didn't consider me an outsider. "No, thank you." Sarah seemed quite enthusiastic. "Just keep spraying him. This boy has no sense of propriety. He's even showing off." The previous scene was an eyesore. From now on, I had to keep my distance from them and never get involved in their affairs again. Not long after, Sarah posted a video in the family chat group of Leo squatting, using the showerhead to spray himself. A 5x close-up angle showed the water flowing in and out. Anyone in the family with bowel problems can use this method. Just now, my son washed out so much hardened stool from his intestinal walls. TV shows all say that clean water enemas can promote bowel movements. Look how enthusiastically my son washes. He's loved cleanliness since he was little. The group was full of elderly relatives. Normally, when Sarah posted videos of Leo, everyone would respond with a few polite remarks. But this shocking scene was a first. A few minutes later, Aunt Helen messaged, "Sarah, your son is in senior kindergarten now. He should pay attention to privacy. Cover him up a bit. Besides, people use saline solution for enemas. Using tap water like this is completely unhygienic. What if it doesn't clean properly and actually worsens a bowel infection? This method should absolutely not be done. What kind of mother are you?" Sarah retorted, "Why shouldn't it be done? You don't need to manage my affairs. Don't think I don't know. You've always been jealous that your daughter wants to be a babysitter. You wanted to use my son for practice, and because I refused, you don't like me. You can't stand to see me live well. How can there be such a selfish relative like you? Aunt May stepped in to mediate. Come on, don't be angry. She didn't mean it that way. We're just looking out for the boy. Sarah wouldn't back down. The chat group became chaotic. I sat watching the drama unfold on screen. It was clear she was wrong in her parenting, yet she blamed others for being jealous of her. Sarah tagged me. Isn't everyone afraid I'll harm my son? Gia Gio was right next to me just now. She can testify about how my son reacted. Don't say I'm a mother who doesn't care. Sarah, overwhelmed by the group's scolding, tried to drag me into the storm. But if I completely disavowed her, knowing her personality, she would surely end up forcing me to stop her. With two opposing sides, I wouldn't gain anything by siding with either. I glanced at my phone and switched to another page. On November 11th, there's a friend assist activity where you can get red packets worth tens of thousands of yuan. Aunts, uncles, are you still worrying about the final payment? Every yuan you grab is a yuan saved. It's an opportunity you can't miss, or someone else will snatch it. The topic in the group immediately shifted. Everyone tagged me, asking how to get the red packets and where to paste the codes. I got 18 yuan. Why did I only get a few cents? No, I want more. Sarah's messages quickly disappeared from view, but I didn't completely ignore her. A moment later, she messaged me privately, asking for the code. Sorry, Sarah, the limit for red packets has been reached today. A new small fountain had just been built in the park. After school, Leo was playing by the water's edge with a group of children. Wearing a raincoat, he shouted to them, "Do you guys want to see my ultimate move? I can make this water go into my body and then come out again. This is a trick I just figured out. Ordinary people can't learn it." A chubby boy scoffed, "Braggart." With a swift motion, Leo pulled down his pants, leaned back, and aimed at the water jet. The fountain had a stronger force than a showerhead. The water rushed in quickly and then flowed out along his thighs, even carrying some color. The little girls were terrified, screaming and running away. The remaining boys stood stunned. "What are you doing? Get down now." The security guard pointed at them and yelled. The surrounding children scattered. The guard caught Leo and took him home. Leo's pants were soaked and he looked aggrieved. Sarah, feeling sorry for her son, hugged him tightly. "Did you wet my son's pants? If he catches a cold, can you take responsibility?" The guard looked helpless. "Ma'am, please control your child. He took off his pants in the apartment complex and aimed at the fountain. I watched it on camera and couldn't bear to see it anymore. Can parents teach their children about public privacy? Some people have bizarre hobbies and even proudly display them. You look at this. Is it appropriate?" The guard had recorded the footage from the camera. After understanding the whole story, Sarah's anger didn't subside. So what about my son? Who did he affect? A few days ago, he was uncomfortably constipated. What's wrong with borrowing a little water from the community fountain, huh? Did it run into your water meter? I pay my apartment management fees down to the last penny. Borrowing a little water and you're acting like it's the end of the world, exaggerating everything. The guard, only concerned with the complex's image, had encountered an unreasonable person and simply gave up arguing. The next day, the management committee announced the fountain would be closed and no longer supply water. Residents knew it was because of Leo. They scolded him, making him afraid to leave the house. Sarah went to the management to argue, only settling down after her electricity was secretly cut several times, from the showerhead to the fountain. If Sarah had conscientiously paid attention to Leo's behavior, it wouldn't have been difficult to recognize his problem. Not only did she dismiss it, but she indulged him. At this rate, Leo would truly develop in an uncontrollable direction. But this time, I just wanted to quietly watch Leo descend into the abyss. Sure enough, a few days later, a group of parents surrounded Sarah's doorstep. "Your child always knocks down my child's building blocks, and he even forces my child to go to the bathroom with him. My child now cries every day, refusing to go to school. What do you say we should do? And he keeps pestering my daughter, saying she has different parts. As a mother, why don't you control him? Do adults play like that at home too?" Sarah, having a headache from the arguing, strained her neck and said, "When I bathe him, I spray him like that. I don't see anything wrong with it. They're all just children. What's the big deal about boys and girls? I think you all are too sensitive and deliberately causing trouble." Someone in the crowd muttered, "Well, then you and your son must have a lot of fun together, huh?" A burst of laughter erupted. Sarah was dumbfounded. What kind of talk is that? What do you all want ultimately? The leading woman spoke up. "Excuse me, we're moving out of this apartment complex. Don't ever let us see you again." That year, Sarah had gone to great lengths, pulling strings, participating in lotteries, viewing houses, and using all her dowry and savings just to buy an apartment in this prestigious school district. How could Sarah's lifelong dream be abandoned with a mere move out? Sarah angrily declared, "If we bother you so much, why don't you move out? I'm staying right here. If you don't like looking, then close your eyes. No one's forcing you. You're truly an unruly person." Sarah grabbed a broom and swung it at anyone she saw. The parents surrounded Sarah, pulling her hair and kicking her stomach. Only when the police arrived did they separate everyone and take them to the station. The other parents claimed Sarah had initiated the attack. Sarah cried out in injustice, "Officer, such a large group of people blocked my doorway. It's perfectly normal for me to act in self-defense, isn't it? On the contrary, they're forcing me to move out, and now they're falsely accusing me." "Is there any justice left?" Before the police could respond, a woman shouted, "Her son is a pervert, and she's no good either. Like mother, like son. Their presence here affects the entire image of our apartment complex." The two sides started arguing again. The police had to intervene to restore order. Leo's issue didn't violate basic laws and couldn't be directly managed, so the police could only educate Sarah with a few words before sending her home. The incident was thus swept under the rug, and Sarah was quite smug about it. However, from then on, residents in the apartment complex would take detours when they saw Sarah and her son, and she couldn't get a single discount when buying things. That day, the kindergarten parent group announced they would hold an evening party. When Sarah took Leo to buy snacks, Leo demanded a large funnel. "What do you need a funnel for?" Leo avoided her gaze, his face flushed, stammering that it was to play with water with classmates. Sarah hesitated for a moment, then happily said, "Oh, playing with friends? My son is so quick, he's already made a close friend. So do I need to buy another one for your friend?" Leo quickly shook his head. "No, no need, we two can share one." What respectable household uses a funnel to make friends? It sounded immediately like no ordinary game. It was surely depraved. I couldn't even imagine the scene anymore. It seemed there was more drama about to unfold. Very soon, on the day of the evening party, I happened to pass by the kindergarten and out of curiosity went in to watch. Sarah leaned close to me. "I know what my son uses the funnel for now." "What for?" Sarah looked around mysteriously, ensuring no one was listening before she spoke. "He's going to perform a segment." The next second, the host called Leo's name. He and another boy walked onto the stage, holding water hoses. This time, Leo wore pants with an open crotch, maintaining the same posture as he did at the fountain. The difference was that the large funnel made the water jet narrower, increasing its force. Leo's face was slightly red. His small body struggled to brace itself against the powerful stream. Before their second turn, the two boys were pulled off stage by a teacher. Parents in the audience protested. What kind of program approval process do these teachers have? They allow such vulgar acts to be performed. Is this child mentally ill? What kind of family lets their young child do these things? It's clear the parents don't educate them. Can you provide my child with a clean environment? What kind of people are they associating with? If we don't get an explanation, we're transferring our children. The program was forced to stop. Sarah and Leo were detained. Leo cried from the scolding of the parents, sobbing in Sarah's arms. Sarah, feeling sorry for her son, patted his back. "What's the meaning of detaining us? What about my son's performance? If you hadn't stopped him, I would have given them a piece of my mind." The teacher frowned deeply but maintained her professional demeanor, stating firmly, "If we had known this was the act from the beginning, we would not have approved it. To be honest with you, your son normally doesn't like wearing pants, and after going to the bathroom, he always complains he's not clean enough and asks me to use the water hose to give him an enema. At first, I didn't pay attention, but later I noticed he really enjoys this sensation. Could there be a psychological problem? He should be treated promptly, or something serious might happen." "Nonsense," Sarah retorted, her attitude resolute. "My son is normal and straightforward. You all are just prejudiced against him. And those parents with no discerning eye being around them makes me feel degraded. Every single one of them is like a block of wood, not lively at all." Seeing she couldn't reason with Sarah, the teacher said no more. At this moment, the child who performed with Leo, along with his mother, rushed in. "Ma'am, can your son please transfer schools? Every time your son goes to the bathroom, he asks my son if he's constipated and says he has a great trick. My son can't even escape him. What do you usually teach your child? If it wasn't for that performance, I wouldn't have asked him a single question." How much longer were you going to let him bully my child? If you don't believe me, just ask him if it's true. The parent became increasingly agitated, spitting as she spoke to Sarah's face. Sarah glanced at Leo in her arms and asked, "Wasn't it voluntary?" Leo, scared, hesitated for a few seconds before shaking his head. The opposing parent, thinking Sarah's attitude would soften, seized the opportunity to say, "The boy has admitted to affecting my child. Do you have anything more to say? Transfer schools. Don't stay here harming other students. Because I see that your son has both psychological and physiological problems. If you don't control him now, you'll regret it later. If you don't control him, then you're sick too." The opposing parent spoke while packing her child's school bag, but unexpectedly, Sarah lunged forward, kicking the bag away. She then delivered a slap. "What did you say? You're old enough to be making up stories about my son? Aren't you ashamed? How many students are there? Why do you always pick on your son? A rotten egg finds no cracks, right? It must be your son who was in the wrong first. Whoever wants to transfer schools in this place can do so. My family certainly isn't moving." The two women lunged at each other, fighting, no one paying attention to Leo. "Mommy, stop fighting, my bottom hurts so much." Leo cowered, clutching his bottom with both hands, lying on the ground, his face pale. The teacher reacted, "He's bleeding from his bottom." She quickly called an ambulance. Due to traffic, it took a long time to reach the hospital, and Leo had already lost consciousness. The doctor asked, "Does your child often suffer from constipation?" Sarah nodded. "Usually, when he's constipated, I drop a few drops of enema solution into tap water and inject it into his bowels." The doctor frowned. Sarah added, "If he gets constipated at school, he'll ask his classmate to help him inject it. The two of them are very close now." The doctor's frown deepened. "But putting other matters aside, tap water is unsanitary and can easily cause intestinal infections. You absolutely must not do that again. If you want an enema, you must go to a proper hospital. A child this young already shows signs of rectal prolapse. This needs to be taken seriously." The doctor was about to leave, but couldn't help adding another remark. "The child's education in other areas also needs more attention." Sarah returned to Leo's hospital room, bewildered, only to find the woman she had just argued with standing beside Leo. "Sweetheart, tell Auntie, are you really uncomfortable with constipation and want an enema, or is there another purpose?" Leo lowered his head, biting his lip, saying nothing. The other parent immediately understood. Seeing Sarah approach, she gently advised, "Your son isn't constipated. There are things I can't say in front of a child, but if you put in the effort to research a bit online, you'll understand the true meaning of this behavior." Unexpectedly, Sarah actually did some research, but after reading, she threw her phone onto the bed, folded her arms, and feigned indifference. "I also advise you to spend less time online. Besides, isn't it just a friendship between boys? He's so young, what does he know? Our family hasn't had any issues for 3 generations. Is it going to mutate with him? He'll be fine once he grows up and gets a girlfriend. Don't bring up such nonsense. I think you're deliberately looking for trouble." The other parent, hearing Sarah's harsh words again, left. A nearby patient overheard and looked at Leo with strange eyes. Leo's face flushed, and he demanded to go home. "I never expected children these days to play so roughly." Children are maturing earlier now. If parents don't intervene, who knows what problems they'll cause when they grow up. Leaving the hospital, Sarah told Leo, "Son, don't worry about what others say. Just do what you want and I'll always support you." Such a serious incident had occurred and Sarah was still encouraging him. I wanted to see if she could bear the consequences that followed. Sarah told me to go home first. Her face was sullen and she kicked things randomly. "Your nephew is injured and hospitalized, and you, as his aunt, don't know how to take good care of him, running off like a deserter." Sarah just wanted me to revolve around Leo, to pour money and attention into him, to protect and pamper him. But once a problem arose, I would be the one blamed. I wouldn't fall into that trap again. Otherwise, I would have lived this life in vain. I complied with her words, acknowledging Leo's injury. I specifically bought some pig intestines for him to recuperate. I just finished stir-frying them, and I also bought a few candied pig intestine skewers. The vendor said they're filled with red bean paste. You two hurry and try them to see if they're good. Sarah gave me a sidelong glance. Well, that's more like it. She hastily pulled Leo into the kitchen, where they ate everything clean, leaving not a single piece for me. I heard their belches, stifling my laughter. Since my rebirth, I had started learning how to make this dish. It was precisely because on the way home today, passing by a restaurant, I had an idea. I asked the owner for some pig intestines meant for animal feed. Many vendors coat candied hawthorns in sugar syrup and then package them. You too can go ahead and eat these intestines. They haven't been cleaned properly. The boy who performed with Leo transferred schools. A few days later, Sarah actually followed the doctor's advice and stopped giving Leo enemas, but Leo wouldn't have it. Sarah explained, "Son, every time you go to the bathroom, you bleed. I'm worried about you. The doctor said you have rectal prolapse. You're still so young, you need to be careful." Leo pouted, "Fine, I can't rely on you." Leo never mentioned the matter again. Several times, passing by the school gate, I saw Leo giving himself an enema in front of a mirror. I just pretended not to see him. In a flash, Leo was in college. That day, a popular TikToker specializing in finding unusual people was live streaming on the street. "Everyone, look what I found." A group of small-time hoodlums surrounding a male student in uniform. "Hey, wait, it doesn't look like they're about to fight at all." The live stream abruptly ended there, but unfortunately the TikToker's voice attracted Sarah's attention. "What are you doing? Son, put your pants on. Who are you guys and what are you doing surrounding my son?" The hoodlums, seeing someone meddling, left Leo and tried to run. But as soon as they lifted their feet, Leo clung tightly to their thighs. "Why are you changing your minds? We already agreed." Sarah was furious, rushing forward and slapping Leo. "Look at yourself. Do you look presentable at all? You useless idiot, let go and come home with Mom. I can't lose face because of you." Sarah chased the other boys away. Leo cried and screamed, "What right do you have to interfere in my life? I'm an adult now. Didn't you say you would support me in everything I do? You don't keep your promises. You don't deserve to be a mother." Sarah was so angry she had to lean against the wall. Back home, she locked Leo in his room, forcing him to reflect on his actions. That evening, Leo pretended to be docile, proactively admitting his fault. "Mom, I was wrong. Please don't be angry anymore. I promise it won't happen again." After all, he was her own flesh and blood. Seeing Leo's sincere attitude, Sarah softened. Leo then probed, "Mom, everyone online is very curious about me. I want to take this opportunity to live stream and earn some money. Can I?" Leo showed Sarah the mocking comments online. Sarah's eyes welled up with tears, feeling sorry for her son. "Son, I never expected you to have such a business mind. My words earlier were a bit harsh. Don't take them to heart. I support your decision. Are you hungry? What do you want to eat? I'll make it for you." Sarah hummed as she went into the kitchen, completely oblivious to the smirk playing on Leo's lips. Public opinion grew increasingly intense, even escalating into a debate about deficient family education, which would affect the child's entire life. Not only Leo's identity, but also Sarah's workplace address was dug up. Every day, curious people would peek through her doorway. Seeing Sarah take no action, her supervisor handed her a termination notice. "I work so hard, why am I being fired? Their eyes are on me and I can't control it. You can't be so unreasonable. Just leave and I'll pay you double the compensation. What do you think?" Sarah happily packed her belongings and left. Before she left, she even invited her colleagues to visit her home if they had free time. The night before Leo was scheduled to livestream, Sarah specifically learned common live streaming phrases and even sent Leo's account to the family chat group. "This is my son's account. Everyone go follow him. He's only posted 2 videos and already has over 1,000 followers. While you're at it, hit that like button. You'll be his loyal fans later," Aunt Helen said. "He's not going to school and he's doing this instead. Sarah, you need to be a little more responsible. Haven't you seen what they're saying online? What has his hobby become now? You're still embarrassed and you even consider this a good thing." Sarah replied, "Oh please, I know you're jealous of my son. He can earn money live streaming at home, you just can't say anything nice. Don't even think about coming near us when our family gets rich." Aunt May intervened, "Come on, let's not create discord. Following him doesn't cost anything." "Done, Sarah, is this it?" "Sarah, you're still the best cousin." With her leading the way, a few others also sent screenshots. I also played along to see what this live stream was all about. On the day of the live stream, as Leo began his performance, a torrent of shocking comments flooded the screen. Unfortunately, before he could reach the good part, the room was locked and required rectification. However, backstage, someone quickly sent a private message. "Can we meet in person?" Sarah was furious. "What kind of people do they think we are? This is outrageous. Son, I don't think this path is good. Why don't you respond to them?" Leo and many people backstage had already exchanged contact information. "Mom, later we can just live stream for a few seconds online, then lead people to offline meetups to earn money." Sarah didn't understand. "It's not illegal, is it? We shouldn't take risks." Leo smirked, confidently saying, "Don't worry, they just want to make friends." Sarah wanted to say more, but seeing Leo's determination, she swallowed her words. She had no idea she was steadily falling into Leo's plan. Leo had no intention of live streaming to earn money online from the start. He only said so to get Sarah's approval. Leo didn't rent a venue. Instead, he brought everyone directly to their home. Sarah, seeing a group of boys arrive, greeted them enthusiastically. "Come on in, boys. Auntie has specially cut some fruit for you all. I never expected my son to be so charismatic, to make so many good friends like this. You all have fun playing." The boys awkwardly glanced at Leo, then shyly said, "Yes, ma'am. Mom, why don't you go for a walk? We're not comfortable playing with you here." Sarah laughed and said, "You're all boys, why are you shy? I'll go then, all right? I won't bother you anymore." As soon as Sarah left, Leo hastily called them into his room. Unexpectedly, Sarah returned to get a trash bag. Unable to resist, she knocked on the door and added, "Son, don't you boys fight, okay?" "We know, Mom. Now hurry up and go." For several consecutive days, boys came to the house daily. Sarah thought Leo was also reaching dating age and couldn't just keep playing with boys every day. Sarah seized an opportunity to ask, "Son, do you like any girls at school? Bring her home for Mom to see." Leo's hand froze and he avoided her gaze. "Mom, I'm so stressed with my studies right now, I don't have time for romance. Besides, I'm happy just meeting up with friends occasionally. It's not necessary to find a girlfriend." All of Sarah's efforts were for Leo to find a girlfriend, so she naturally disagreed. "How can that be? This meetup doesn't even make much money. I won't say anything, considering you're just making friends, but you can't just stay with them forever. At your age, you need to find a partner. If you continue like this, I'll cancel the offline meetups." Leo got angry, threw down his chopsticks, and walked away. "If you dare stop it, I won't come home anymore." Sarah had no other choice. She only had one son, and as long as he didn't cause serious trouble, she would temporarily forgive him. That day, Sarah was again asked to leave the room. As she disposed of the trash bag from Leo's room, it tore, and several wads of toilet paper fell out. Sarah recalled the sounds that had previously come from the room, and the more she thought about it, the more uneasy she felt. So she opened the surveillance camera in Leo's room and was immediately stunned. Furious, she stormed into the room. "Get down here," Sarah pulled Leo up. "Look at yourself in the mirror. What kind of person have you become? Is this what you promised your mother?" Leo no longer had the shyness of his childhood. His face was neither red nor pale. "What kind of person have I become? Isn't it because you didn't educate me well from a young age? You can't escape responsibility for who I am today. Don't act so innocent." Sarah's chest heaved violently, so angry she couldn't stand steadily and had to lean against the wall. She then turned her anger towards the other boy. "You came to someone else's house to do this. Aren't you afraid of being laughed at if word gets out?" Leo defended him. "Mom, don't scare him. He's innocent. Whatever anger you have, take it out on me." Sarah raised her hand, intending to hit the other boy. Leo shielded him. "Let him go." Sarah slumped to the floor, hitting her thighs and crying. "This is truly a disaster. How did I raise a child like this? How am I going to live the rest of my life?" Leo, annoyed by her words, pulled Sarah out to the living room and slammed the door shut. Sarah canceled the meetup and Leo sulked, refusing to eat or go to school. Despite her anger, Sarah still worried about Leo. She called me repeatedly, asking me to talk to Leo. "He's been locked in his room for 2 days without eating. I'm worried something might happen to him. My son doesn't listen to me, but he has a good impression of you. If you talk to him, it will definitely work. Please, I'm begging you." I had seen through Sarah's true nature. She never thought of me for good things, but when she needed someone to take responsibility, I was the first person she thought of. Leo's illness was ingrained in his bones. If I took on this mess again, Sarah would later say it was because I hadn't educated him properly. I hesitated for a moment, then said, "Sarah, it's not that I don't want to help you. You know your son's personality best. It's impossible for an outsider like us to change him. Besides, the one who tied the bell must be the one to untie it. I think it's most appropriate for you to handle this matter yourself." Seeing that softness didn't work, Sarah resorted to harshness. "Did you know he would turn out this way since he was little, deliberately watching him fall into depravity? I never expected my closest relative to be the cruelest. All those times I called you for help, and this is how you repay me? Heaven has eyes. In my previous life, I worked like a dog, spending both money and effort, wholeheartedly devoted to Leo. But all I got in return was a tragic death and a curse that I deserved to die 1,000 times over. In this life, I wouldn't advise him again. But there were still others who would. If he truly listened to advice, there were still many opportunities to change this outcome. But what about him? He would still just blame me. I put my phone aside to do my work, thinking Sarah would say a few more things and hang up when I didn't respond. Unexpectedly, she changed her tone. All right then, as long as you show some remorse, you don't need to call and you don't even need to come to the house. Just spend a little money to buy him a car to appease him. 5 or 600,000 would be enough. It doesn't need to be too expensive. I'll forgive you. In the end, she still wanted to bleed me dry. I cursed at her silently, but outwardly I said, Sarah, he doesn't even have a driver's license yet, so what car would he drive? If something happens, who will take care of him? Even if he knew how to drive, driving alone would be very lonely. When he has a girlfriend to accompany him, even if you don't say anything, I'll still buy him a car. My words reminded Sarah. She hung up and went to find Leo. Son, staying home all the time isn't the way. My friend's daughter is 2 years younger than you and just started college. You two can meet and talk. Who knows, you might become a couple. Sarah wanted to say a few more things, but to her surprise, Leo agreed very quickly. Afterwards, I received a message from Sarah. Get the car money ready. He's about to have a girlfriend. I sent back a congratulatory emoji, but whether that car money would actually be spent remained an unknown. Before the meeting, Sarah bought Leo a decent set of clothes and a new haircut. He looked presentable. Sarah and her old friend exchanged a few pleasantries, then got straight to the point. The girl was a bit shy. Sarah nudged Leo, signaling him to initiate conversation. Leo cleared his throat and began, Do you know the biggest difference between girls and boys? The girl looked confused. Sarah forced a laugh, trying to cover up. This boy hasn't had much contact with girls since he was little, so he's a bit shy and doesn't know what to say. Please don't mind them, dear. But Leo had no intention of stopping. He continued, You can see the difference just from enema techniques. Whether it's in strength or skill, girls are naturally weaker than boys, which is why I prefer to play with boys. Do you know how to do enemas? Probably not, right? Well, if I tell you, you wouldn't understand. We don't have common topics, but if you want to learn, I can teach you every day. That's enough. The friend's face was even uglier than Sarah's. She grabbed her daughter's hand and stood up, ready to leave. I don't want to say anything more. I really shouldn't have listened to you in the first place and brought my daughter here. What kind of people are these? Let's not contact each other again. No matter how Sarah called out, the mother and daughter didn't stop. After they had walked away, Sarah furiously scolded Leo. You wretched child. Do those words you said have any decency? No matter how much I pressure you, you still have to save some face for me. Are you addicted to enemas now? If you keep acting like this, no one will bother to control you anymore. Do whatever you want. Just don't say you're my son when you're out there. Leo was indignant. He sneered. Now you're blaming me for making you lose face, Mom. Didn't you always know I was doing these things? You didn't stop me, you indulged me. I've become like this and you have to bear full responsibility. I truly despise your blame-shifting face. With that, he walked away. Sarah left Leo there and walked straight off without looking back. Leo started staying out all night. Sarah called him, but he wouldn't answer, eventually turning off his phone. Sarah's face was sullen every day. She washed her face with tears, not knowing what to do. A few weeks later, Leo returned home to pack his luggage, coincidentally meeting Sarah, who had just come back from work. After being fired, Sarah wanted to save more money for a wedding. During the day, she delivered goods, and at night, she washed dishes. Leo said with annoyance, My roommate and I rented a house together. Mom, give me some money for rent. Leo, if you don't listen to me, I won't give you a single penny. The next second, Leo grabbed Sarah's hand, allowing his roommate to snatch her phone and transfer money. As Sarah struggled, she was kicked down by the roommate. Leo didn't even look. After the money was transferred, the other boy threw the phone to the ground. The two grabbed their luggage and left. Sarah lay on the ground, crying and calling me. Every word expressed regret for her past actions. In this life, I wouldn't meddle anymore. All the karma was falling on Sarah's head. She deserved it. Day after day, Sarah continued to live, having completely lost hope in Leo. Until the hospital called to report Leo's admission, only then did Sarah drop her work and rush over. The doctor said the patient had severe rectal prolapse beyond recovery. From now on, he would only be able to defecate through other means. Sarah's eyes were moist. While Leo was still unconscious, Sarah called his roommate. I beg you, can you please spare my son? His body can't take it anymore. If you still seek him out, I will call the police. The roommate swore and said, He brought this upon himself. Does not playing anymore mean not playing anymore? You, as his mother, didn't control him, and now you dare to come here to warn me? Let's be clear, it's your son who kept clinging to me. The other party hung up. Sarah, furious, deleted all contact methods. Leo woke up to find he couldn't contact anyone anymore. What right do you have to delete my friend's mom? Do you know how much effort I put into keeping him? He can bring me different sensations. And you, Mom, you've never cared about me, you only know how to restrain me. Sarah's eyes brimmed with tears as she hugged Leo, crying, "Son, listen to Mom and come home. If you continue like this, your body will be ruined. You go home by yourself. I don't want to see you anymore." Sarah sat on the ground, weeping. Passers-by stared at her. Leo was still bound by Sarah and brought home, but every day he found ways to provoke her. Sarah had long been suffering from a nervous breakdown. Suddenly, a fit of anger erupted, and she suffered a stroke and was hospitalized. Now, the mother and son, one couldn't defecate normally, and the other couldn't speak. All the money Sarah had worked so hard to earn was stolen by Leo's roommate. Without money to pay for hospital bills, Leo had no choice but to seek out his father. His father, a gambling addict, slurred when he heard about money. "Let's be clear, your mother and I are divorced. I have no responsibility to raise him, and you're already an adult. I don't need to spend money on you. Whatever happens to you two has nothing to do with me. It's useless to come to me." Leo's fingers gripping the phone turned white. The doctor urged Leo to pay the fees more than once. He had no other choice but to contact me. As soon as he spoke, I knew he, too, had been reborn. "Auntie, I know you've been reborn, that's why you didn't manage me. I really shouldn't have harmed you, which is why I never sought you out. But I've truly reached the end of the road. Can you manage me one more time? I promise I won't harm you again." In my previous life, when he choked me, I also begged him, but he still didn't spare me. Now, even if I agreed to help him, if problems arose later, he would still shift the responsibility onto me. His promises were worth nothing to me. I said coldly, "It's not worth it. Your mother even cursed it at my grave, saying I deserved to die 1,000 deaths. I said I wouldn't meddle in your family's affairs anymore. Go, don't come looking for me again." Unexpectedly, he really left without saying a word. However, my words made him think I didn't help because of Sarah. His hatred for Sarah deepened even more. He refused to let the doctor use medication. "Mommy, this feels so good. I want to wash my bottom like this forever." I was busy with my own life and no longer heard any news about their family. Later, I passed by Sarah's apartment complex. There were police cars everywhere, and people were discussing a strange smell emanating from an apartment. The police knocked but found no one. Breaking down the door, they discovered Leo dead inside. His body had decomposed, surrounded by waste. I quickly glanced over and left. As I walked out of the apartment complex, the dark clouds dissipated, and the sunlight shone perfectly on my head. The future would also be a bright sky.